always gonna be labeled as East Side Boys to certain people, and you know what I'm saying. That's the title that's gonna stick with us, because you know that's what we are.
I knew of James years before I actually met him. Him and his guys, buddies, and other groups would meet up and fight, and all type of foolishness would go on.
Whenever that they came around, it was like the Beatles.
We grew from a group of 4 or 5 older friends to about 100, 150 people.
They'd just be like, oh, that was James and them. It was always James and them, or James and this other kid.
I felt it got out of hand probably, I would say like when I hit 18. That's when it really got out of hand.
As far as known gangs, which ones operated on the east side? Bigger ones?
Probably the most prevalent is the East Side Boys, and they've been around for several years. You know, it seemed for a while there a lot of those founding people in the East Side Boy and Subway Side gangs were being put away into prison. So now you're seeing, like last week I saw a couple of guys that I haven't seen in a couple of years, and that's because they're out of prison now. So you wonder if crime's gonna go up again because they're out, or you know if they've made a turn for the better.
Right now I'm about to go to where I lost somebody that was really close to me months before I got shot. At the time I had just parked like right at that corner. I parked at the corner, I was walking up there and I heard the shots, and everybody came out running, and he ran, he seen me, he kind of cut through, and I caught him, and he kind of bled out. I guess he choked on his blood, because I hit his lung or something like that.
Were you still holding him?
Yeah, I was holding him until the police came, and that was probably the worst message ever in my life I had to deliver to somebody that chose. You know what I'm saying? Your son is gone, you know. People was driving past saying, ha, laughing, fuck him, fuck that, blah, blah, you know. So it was a real fucked up day.
At that time, he was very, you know, he was still 1 foot in. He didn't, I won't say he went out and acted out, but he also didn't use his influence to stop people from acting out.
Our stomping grounds. Well, I didn't even know this was condemned, boy. It's like this was home, everybody's home. Because so many people stayed in the building, there was always somewhere to go. The ones I consider my brothers, they were living in the building. And I stayed a couple blocks back, so I get in an argument with my mom, or, you know what I'm saying, nothing to eat, nothing like that. I can go there, and vice versa. And back then, I probably wouldn't never left. I don't think nobody would have ever left.
None of them had any kind of brand new tennis shoes, you know, gold chains or nice clothes. None of them. And I think that was another thing that bonded them together.
It was just us 5. We were just, you know what I'm saying, a group of people who just hung together. So, you know, when everybody see it, they're like, okay, those are the East Siders. Those are the dudes that's on the East Side. And of course, there's still house party incidents, and you're in a party, people shooting outside, and even if it had nothing to do with you, you'd be like, okay.
Yeah, they were being protective of each other, but at the same time, they saw enough to know that part of that was leading into another area. By the end of the summer, somehow a gun got in play. And then from there, it just took off. And I can remember that like it was yesterday.
To be honest, I don't even know how the incident started. It was just a couple of kids, a couple of dudes. They you know what I'm saying, they came by looking for certain people. They pulled out a gun, and you know what I'm saying, at this time, we all teenagers, we you know what I'm saying, we're younger, and it's only like a couple of us. So I'm gonna lie, I got scared, we all got scared, like, man, this, you know what I mean, you're supposed to feel safe at home. So we ain't feel safe no more, and that's when the guns from our side got involved. When you're in the midst of out here, you don't really think about your actions and who it really affect. You know what I'm saying, how it affect the whole community, and like, you don't really see that. like this strip, this whole bait strip, it was shootouts probably every other day. It was a shooting. You know, just this strip alone.
Got so big that there was so many new people coming around.
To be honest, I don't even know 90% of them that's out there now. People still looking at me as, you know what I'm saying, the older person, you know what I'm saying, the person they, you know what I'm saying, looked up to him. I probably could have stopped it. I'm pretty sure I could have stopped it.
I think that no, he couldn't have stopped it because these guys, everybody that was doing it knew perfectly well what they were doing. Bebe got murdered, that took it to a whole nother level, because the truth of it is a lot of these kids, even from that side of town and this side of town, played on basketball teams together, football teams together.
I never would have thought it would have got to the point where I would look at someone that I grew up with, you know what I'm saying, totally different. I never would have thought it would have got that far. That was in there. That street light above there was in there. So at night, this is like the darkest street, so.
I'm guessing they probably walked up from this way, came up on the passenger side of the car, and shot a couple shots, about 6 times, I think it was, they said, 6 times.
Mm-hmm. My ear just ringed. I didn't hear the gunshots because it was so close. I was just kind of got me dizzy, and I felt the bullet hit.
I took one in the leg, and she took one like sort of in the back of her ear, like whatever the ear is called right here.
Apparently, from what I understood, is she died instantly. At the time, I didn't know she was hit. She's laying on my shoulder, and my friend, my brother, he came over he popped up from the back seat. Was like, "We gotta go. She's hit." I'm like, "I'm hit too, man. I can't go. You know what I'm saying? I'm bleeding out. I'm getting dizzy."
He reached over, and it's like, "Man, just step on the gas, and I'll steer." And that's what happened. We ended up going down the street to the gas station, M&H.
Her family had, you know what I'm saying, an issue with me over it. Like, basically, they was looking for you. It should have been you. So I never went to the funeral services, nothing, because I partially felt guilty, like it was my fault. Like, if she wasn't in my car, she'll be alive. So I felt a lot of guilt behind that. I actually felt a lot of guilt. I felt guilty up until this year after talking to so many people and talking to.
He stayed in his phone until last October about the whole situation.
3 years.
Yes. And he finally went to the gravesite. He spent about 20, 30 minutes just out there talking to her.
Yeah, that was my way of saying, like, you know what I mean, I never meant for nobody innocent to get hurt behind, you know what I mean, somebody else's bullshit. That was never under my intention, and I don't think that was in anybody's intention. So people look at it, you know what I'm saying, you look at it, everybody look at it they different ways. Everybody's saying, okay, he went soft, or he did this and he did that. I mean, everybody got their own wake-up call, and I think that was my wake-up call right there. Mm-hmm.
It was, for everybody, a moment of saying, when you do choose to do this lifestyle, when, you know, it's not like a game that you can check yourself out, you know, and say, time out, I'm out, I'm gonna go rest. Once you're in, people that you've had some problems with are still playing this game that you decide not to play anymore. Well, they're still playing, and they still remember.
That pushed me more into, you know what I'm saying, the right direction. I was already, you know what I'm saying, I was half-stepping. I consider myself to be out of it, but at the same time, I wouldn't let nothing happen to nobody I hung with, even if they were still involved. So,
but people started to question him and question his loyalties, and it created a bunch of cliques over here.
Once we started to work and, you know what I'm saying, started to be calming down and, you know, actually growing up like we supposed to have been anyways. the car sort of was split and a whole bunch of arguments, and you know, even has a couple of fights, and you know, that's when shit really got crazy, honestly.
It was an interesting time on the east side.
There was no direction. There was no more leadership. Everybody just free fire, do what they want.
Like the ones that were still in it looked at him as soft or not. You just turn your back on the hood and stuff like that. Well, just because like he was like their protection. Like he was always fight their battles. Once he wanted to leave the life, like they didn't have that cushion in the world. James was here. James would protect us. I think that's what they're more angry about than anything.
I'm not gonna lie. I still carry a lot of hate in my heart. But the fact that I don't know who actually did it, I was, you know what I'm saying, I'm not gonna just take it out on anybody.
We'd say, okay, James, we need you to, you know, kind of tell your story, kind of, you know, let these kids know, you know, that this is not what they want. And then James's response would always be like, I can't tell them what to do. I can't tell them what to do. You know, they're going to do what they want to do anyway. There was a situation where we heard a kid of our younger kids had a pistol. They started denying it. And then that's when James stood up and started talking, you know, pointing at people and saying, you know, you're bullshitting, you're bullshitting, you're bullshitting. And they were just looking at him. It wasn't, hey, little buddy, you need to stop. It was like, you know what, you little asshole, you know, I know what you're doing. And, you know, and then when something happens to you in the streets, I'm not going to help you. Mm-hmm. And that had an impact. And then that's when we were finally able to say, that's what we need from you.
You can't really be in the streets and still take care of home at the same time. You don't never want to bring it to your home, especially when St. Paul's so small and shit, the enemy could be living a couple blocks down.
One of my biggest reasons to not ever walk back is my daughter. Cause I wouldn't, you know what I'm saying, I want to be there for her, to raise her, because my dad wasn't here to raise me. My dad didn't help me do anything.
Not only does James take care of his baby, James helps take care of his mother and his brother's baby.
So this is what my weekends is now. Something to live for, you know what I mean? And she something to come home to, you know. I don't know, man. I got, like, she'll make, even if you're mad, the things she do is gonna make you smile, you know. So, I mean, I don't really know how to explain it.
And I think that he's turned a corner that he never wants to go back around the block anymore. I think even now, going around the block scares him now.
At the same time, there is another side of James that no one knows if it'll ever come back out, or, you know, it's still him as a person. He's just trying to let his behavior and his life go a different direction.